Hey everyone, thank you for passing by. I really want to share with you an important message. Go back to the potter's wheel. In Jeremiah chapter 18, verse 1 to 4, it reads, "This is the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord. Go down to the potter's house, and I will give you my message. So I went down to the potter's house, and I saw him working at the wheel. But the pot he was shaping from the clay was marred in his hands, so the potter formed it into another pot, shaping it as seemed best to him." Imagine being in the potter's house like Jeremiah. The same way in how a potter puts time and effort into shaping a piece of clay. It's a similar way of how the Lord puts time and effort to shape us in the way that pleases Him. The Lord also clarifies that He is always in control, and He will do His utmost to transform our lives. I remember a song growing up as a child. It says, "Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Break me, melt me, mold me, and fill me." Let's delve deeper into the lyrics of this song. Break me. Why do we need to be broken? As human beings, all of us are prone to temptations, and every time we fall into temptation, we are damaged, and that's when the cracks start to appear. And every time we hear a word from the Lord, it quickly escapes our minds. And whenever we ask the Lord to fill us, we cannot contain it. Why? Because of the holes and cracks that leads to leakage. And this is why it is so important to pray and ask the Lord to make us over again. We need to be humble and tell the Lord we cannot continue like this anymore. We cannot continue in this condition any longer. Lord, I need you to break me in order to start all over again. Now, some people may disagree with me and say, why couldn't the Lord just glue us back together? The true fact is that the Lord Himself can do so much more than glue us back together. First of all, if we are glued back together, our brokenness can still be visible to others. Just like if you glue pottery back together, you can still see the broken pieces. But God, who is always in control, will make us over again. And when we are reshaped, no broken pieces will be exposed. It will be as though we are in mint condition. We wouldn't look like we've been through the mess we've been through. Because once we put our lives in God's hands and allow Him to work in us, we will never be the same again. Melt me. Why do we need to be melted? Well, first of all, we need to be melted in order to be reshaped. If a piece of clay goes into a wrong shape, the potter can quickly apply water in order for the clay to be soft again. And in life, we will face struggles, and it may feel as though we are in a fiery furnace. but the process of being melted is for our own good. Our trials come to make us strong, and I'm sure all of us need our faith to be developed in the Lord. Mold me. We need to be in the right shape in order for the Lord to fill us. In life, it's so easy for all of us to be misshapen, especially when we fall into sin. And there are times when we may feel as though we can reshape ourselves, but the shapes we want to be in will never compare to the shapes that the Lord wants us to be in. And we know that our thoughts and our ways will never be like the Lord's. We need to be humble and ask the Lord to shape us in holiness. And I believe that the Lord wants us to be shaped in holiness rather than pride. And that's why humility is so important in our walk with the Lord. When I look back on my childhood days, growing up in church, another song appears in my mind relating to this context. Jesus on the inside, working on the outside. Oh, what a change in my life. You see, it's so important to be changed in the inside as well as the outside. We need to ask the Lord to change what's inside of us. Our thoughts, our feelings, our desires, or any bad habits, so that our outward appearance will change. Fill me. All of us need to be aware of what we pour into ourselves. We want to contain contents that are pure and not filthy. Some of us may want to fill ourselves up with entertainment and our own personal desires. And other people may say, it's a good thing that I'm not made out of glass, because many people will see the contents that I pour in. I'm glad I'm made of clay, because people can't see. Well, you may fool people around you, but you can never fool God. God always knows the contents of our hearts. He knows all about our bad habits, no matter how hard we try to hide them from Him, whether if we're made out of glass or clay. Even if we are made out of clay, God can see through our outward appearance. We ought to be filled with the right contents, like integrity, humility, hope, love, discernment, the fruits of the Spirit. And when we are filled with the vital contents, our lives will never be the same. The Lord will use us as His vessels. And also, we must check ourselves daily. Always check that we are filled with the right contents, and ask the Lord to pour in the wisdom we need in order to grow. Before I leave you, there's one final song that I would like to mention. It's another song that I grew up with, and I really dug deep with this one. The songwriter says, "Have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way. Thou art the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me after thy will, while I am waiting, yielded and still." There's a lot of humility within that song. Simply asking the Lord to have His way over our lives. And let me encourage you all, to put your lives in the Lord's hands. He is capable, and we serve a God who never fails. Trust in Him, and He will shape you. Go back to the potter's wheel.